Hey, welcome back to the Heretic Sisters. I'm Suzanne. I'm the hopeful heretic. I'm interested in exploring all of the frequencies with the hope of revealing something higher than our limited minds can grasp. Questions I'm pondering: what is the truth? Can we both have an individual truth and a shared truth? Is it possible to be an individual within a group? What is our individual versus shared responsibilities? Is shared and balanced equity possible?
Hi, and I'm Tatiana. I'm the fearful heretic. I'm all about getting to the bottom of things. I also want to try everything at once. Questions I'm pondering: how does one see reality without distortion? How can we embrace all the blooming complexities of life? How do we express our experiences in creative work? The question, what's it all for, has not left me since my teenage years. And today we are lucky to have a guest, a wonderful mental projector, who is doing not only who is active not only in human design field, but she's active a lot in public relations and has so much more to tell us. So please welcome Stephanie Aukes.
Yeah. Hi guys, thank you for having me.
We're happy to have you. Stephanie is a PR and brand strategist and at the same time a certified human design business coach. She has over 20 years of experience in PR and personal branding. She has worked with a wide range of clients, including best-selling authors and brands like KLM and Bold, worldwide active and well-known. Stephanie has been recognized and awarded for her speaking skills and was named one of the leading consultants in the Netherlands. The press describes her as a PR guru and a force of nature that challenges the way PR is done. So it would be extremely interesting to listen about your life and how it is all started, how you got into human design and how you developed your brand and public relations. So where do we start?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Tatiana.
So these wonderful pictures I took from your website.
Yeah, I see
Can
that.
you tell us, elaborate a little bit? So this appearance in Linda magazine.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was some time ago because I was helping a lot of my clients, and I still am at times. It depends on what we're working on. But because I have a lot of contacts in the media, I was asked to be in Linda magazine, which is one of the top female magazines in the Netherlands. And over here, I'm actually describing my shopping trips to New York, and especially the budget trips that I would make with my mom. We would be like, okay, the clothes are much cheaper there, and you have so many outlet options and stuff like that. So we would actually pay back our trip by just going there and buying clothes for like the season.
No, good to know.
Yeah, and I was talking about my PR business. I always wanted to, look well, and so I got this page in Linda, which was awesome. And there was this wonderful photo shoot. Very professional and just really great to do. So
Okay, so and then at what town did you make this photo session? Photo on the left, is it Rotterdam or?
No, it could have been, but it's actually Amsterdam, and it's the NDSM wharf, which is a bit more industrial. And I worked there for a festival, for example. And actually, it's the northern side. I live there too now, the northern side. And you have a beautiful view over Amsterdam. And this is just one of the pictures.
Okay, that's nice. I worked once with North Sea Jazz. I had an honor to see the backstage and how they all do it. Yeah, so
wonderful. That's huge here.
So I love your website. It does definitely present you as a power woman, in business, because you focus on helping other women. Is it specifically women, or is it also men?
It could be men, but because I'm a woman, mostly women want to work with me. But I do help some men. Yeah, but I have a special, a soft spot, of course, for women to make them feel seen and make them feel heard. So, that's close to my heart.
That's nice. Then let's wait. Sorry. Yeah. So here we have some other sides. Can you tell us something about the people on these pictures?
Yeah. Like on the left, that's YG. He's a rapper from Los Angeles. I mean, I started out in PR because I was helping music artists get publicity, and I helped them with writing their bio. And I really specialize in looking at what makes somebody unique, and then helping that part of them, their genius, to stand out. So when I was working with upcoming artists from Amsterdam and the Netherlands, I was also always, of course, also going to music places, and I was asked to write for this online magazine. I also wrote for some offline magazines, but for those magazines, and later on my own online music magazine, I was interviewing artists. So you see YG in the middle, you see Shaggy, which was a really funny interview because he was telling me how he hated social media, and at that time it was really something that everybody was doing. I was like, oh really? You know. And on the right, I think that was maybe even my first or one of my first interviews with Bobby Valentino, also an R&B star from the US. So yeah, that was pretty exciting to get to know them, and some of them were great and others were not so great.
Yeah, that's the usual thing. Yeah,
There's only so much you can do, right? As far as it is a lot, the coach and the person that's presenting them to the public, but then at some point they have to take over.
Sometimes I understand that sometimes they don't want to do interviews, so I always try to make it interesting and to ask them different questions that nobody asked before. That was a pretty big thing to come up with that, but it was fun. But at one point I was like, okay, now it's enough, you just go do other stuff.
And so you understood that not only music as a field of their activity is interesting for you.
Because I was really making money by helping upcoming artists in the Netherlands, and of course they weren't making a lot of money at that time. So I knew that, if I wanted to do that full time, I would also have to focus on organizations and businesses and startups. And that was so much fun. And it was also always like a challenge for me. Can I do this? I do have a communications background, but I mean, nobody ever taught me how to get publicity. No one. So I figured it out myself. And I became really good at it. But it was also causing a lot of stress because it's free publicity. So you never know what you're going to achieve for somebody. So you're working and working and working like a generator, honestly, to get it all done. And that was very challenging. So I'm glad that I found out I'm a projector, and I'm really here to guide and teach others. So I eventually made that switch to really teaching others and making an online program and doing group coaching and stuff like that. And that was a huge eye-opener for me.
So you changed your life direction after you understood that you're a projector. You do not have to work as a generator, even like that. So you started your experiment, and
it was like I was so overwhelmed by it all. I had so much success and people really wanting to work with me. I had a wait list because I couldn't take on more people, and I didn't really have the ambition to have a big firm and work with other people. I'm a projector. I love working one-on-one, or groups are fine as well, but really having staff, that was never really something that I wanted. So when I was like really overwhelmed by it all and I was kind of burned out, that's when you start to dive deeper. And when I found human design and I found out I'm a projector, that was for me the thing I needed to move in a new direction. It all fell into place because I always felt it in my heart. There has to be another way. It's causing me too much stress. I have such a responsibility. And when you look in my human design chart, you see that there's this dedication. That's my cross also. The commitment, the desire. I mean, that was a lot. I really, really care about my clients and I want them to succeed. And everything fell onto me. But I was dependent on other people, journalists, to make it happen, So, So,
there are no guarantees in publicity world. You cannot be sure that it would come out the way you planned it.
Exactly. You never know.
And it's changed so much, the PR world. I have another friend we interviewed last session, and she's kind of making that switch too, because PR has totally changed, and she has her own business and she's had to adapt. When did you discover human design?
How it happened, yeah.
I think about 8 years ago. But at that time, I mean, I only understood the basics. I think I wasn't ready like to dive into it fully. But then, like 5 years ago, because I'm in my 5th year of my experiment, it really clicked. And I was like, but wait a second, you know, I'm helping people stand out. And with human design, we can exactly see how people stand out and how they are their authentic self, their genius self, you know, and a lot of people don't really see themselves. So I love first starting out with helping them with getting to know themselves better and what they're good at and why they're here, their purpose and stuff like that. And then help them with the strategies that will help them stand out. And, you know, you don't have to follow all those generic strategies that only work for a small bunch of people. There are ways that work for you. Like I found out for myself. So yeah, I love that.
Was it the person who invited you to human design? So first, just information online, and then you started to learn it deeper, or?
Yeah, I got a reading, and I did Living Your Design course. And I went, that was, I think, 2 years ago. I started studying by myself, but I also went to, I think the name is it an immersion? Well, it was with Aukes Diaz, and it was about the Penta and the Wa, so how we operate in groups. And that was so interesting. And I felt so recognized, you know, because I'm a mental projector. I'm so different, but people there, they got to see my design. And yeah, it felt like coming home.
Yeah, that's how it communicates.
Yeah. So, and of course I studied with 64 Keys with Nicole Ephart, who's wonderful. They really specialize in career coaching and group and team coaching. So yeah, that was so interesting, you know, and there's so much still to explore. I feel it's a study that you can do for your life, your whole life. There's so much to learn. And don't you feel that? Like,
I just saw it today. Yeah, because now, thanks to Suzanne, I understand that I do understand that I'd like to know more about astrology also. So it's like until the end of my days, I definitely have something to learn.
You know? Yeah, at one point I want to dive into that too, you know, because it's also so fascinating. But for now, human design is enough.
Yeah, I think 5 ones, you know, we've got I saw that you had a lot of ones in your profile too. And so for us, you know, when we discover, or I don't know if you knew this about yourself when you were younger, I was a reader, but I had no idea how much I just love to study. And so I mean, that's why I really love astrology, because there's so much to unpack, and then human design. And I've been self-studying just like very deeply. I'm kind of obsessive in that way, but so I agree with you.
No, I totally get it. It's so fascinating. And yeah, that one line, I want to know everything. Like, I want to know, I mean, ChatGPT is I have other app that I use for that, but I use it maybe 25, maybe sometimes 50 times a day, because I want to know things. Yeah, it's crazy. Like everything about health, about what something means, and that one line is there.
That's great. I have
sorry, no.
I have a question. So this idea that you can combine human design and your PR ideas and your PR activities. So how it is received by your clients, and what is your approach? Because I also feel that this combination could be quite effective for some persons who understand, who are ready to work in that manner. So how does it comes to? So how do people understand it? How do they get it? So they are like, oh, sorry, astrology, human design, whatever. It doesn't have nothing to do with me and my publicity.
No, it's more personal branding. I call it more that you're branding yourself. And if you are interested in getting media attention, we can do that. But yeah, I mean, the people that are interested in working with me, they do have to be a little bit spiritual. They do have to have some interest in human design or astrology, or, you know, they are big on personal development, then they're interested. But of course, there are also the people that are not interested. They're just not really working on themselves, are not really open to new ideas. So it's the people that come to me are very happy, but like some of my old clients, they just don't get it. But that's okay, because I love working with people who want to be better, who want to really be their authentic selves and not follow what other people are doing, who want to bring something new to the world. You know, that's
like you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So so you choose people who are like you, right? So and you know, human design is the science of differentiation, after all. So I think, it's perfect. My clients that I work with are so enthusiastic. They have these major breakthroughs and aha moments. And I've honestly never worked with anyone who was like, no, this is not right. Or, you know, I don't recognize myself in my charts. So I'm just lucky that the right clients find me, because that's what the most important thing is for us as projectors, right? That they see us, they recognize us, and they want to work with us.
Yeah, of course.
And we're transpersonal, so I think that we worry. We probably worry too much, but you know, the people are going to come to us that need to experience whatever they need to experience from us, I think.
Exactly. And not everybody's ready for a projector. And that's fine too, you know, because we can look at them in such a deep way. Not everybody's ready for that. And I understand, but it's such a wonderful feeling when you are recognized and the people are ready for your advice. You know, and it's funny because I've worked with a lot of coaches on personal level, but also on business level. So business coaches as well. And it's also probably my 5 line, but I don't always feel fully seen.
Yes.
And they, okay. And they can help me until a certain point. And then it's like, I better stop this coaching. I actually stopped my business coaching last week because it was starting to work against me, because they were saying you should try this or you should. And I was like, oh no. You know, I felt this instant no. So I paid a lot of money for that, and I'm not going to get that back. But we have to do what's right for us. You know, I don't want to get generic strategies. I want to get personalized strategies. So it's actually pretty funny what happened. Like, okay, Stephanie. Yeah.
But it's nice that you can hear yourself so clearly. Yeah.
Right. So I learned a lot from them. For example, you know, I have a webinar and they help me structure it better. And I learned so much. But now when it comes to the messaging, when it comes to my offers, I have to do it myself. Or maybe with another projector. Maybe. No? But I think it's interesting.
Did you so tell me a little bit about that? Like they weren't projectors. How did you go through the choosing process of them?
That's a really good question, because I've been asking myself that as well. Well, I've known them for years, and they have a membership site, and they are wonderful. They're a $1 million business, so they know what they're talking about. And I remember one time a few years ago, I got coaching from her, and it was supposed to be 30 minutes, but she spent 1.5 hours with me. So then you get my trust. You're in this to really help me. You're not just in this to make money, right? And those are my values as well. If my client needs a little bit more, I'm not going to say no. You know, if I really can't do it, that's another thing. But if I can, I will help my client, you know. So when I made the choice, I was like, okay, I need some help with this. Who can I trust? So funny, because there's a Mental Projectors group on Facebook, and I said, I'm going to do a podcast, guys. What do you think I should get across from as being a mental projector? What do you want others to know? They said, because we have no definition in our body, we really have to trust you to be with you.
Mhm.
So yeah, I trust. So that made a whole lot of sense. I trust them. I still trust them, but I also have to accept that there maybe comes a point where, yeah, I've learned all I can learn from them, and that I have to move on. So looking back at it, making that decision. I mean, we're not here to make a lot of decisions. That's what Ross says about mental projectors. Did I make the right decision? I think so, but. And at the time, there wasn't anyone else who could help me. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I'm still thinking about it. You hear me, right? But I made the right decision. But I just have to accept that sometimes, yeah, it just ends.
Yeah. And they say, I've heard, and you tell me, that it's not really other people that are giving you clarity. It's you and talking to many different people, and then clarity comes.
Exactly. So what I told them was, guys, because I was getting Voxer support mostly. So Voxer support, like a WhatsApp. And because of the time difference, they are in the US, it was a little bit challenging. We couldn't go back and forth enough. And I was like, this is not working. I really need to talk to somebody one-on-one. I'm a mental projector. I even said that I'm a mental projector. It's not working for me anymore. It was working in the beginning because that's what I needed. But right now, so yeah. I told them.
And as while we are on this ground, I would like to dig a bit deeper into your soundboarding. Yeah, that's what also I suppose Susan tried to understand. Yeah. So do you agree? Because I heard some opposite opinions on it. So like mental projector belongs to the person in whom he trusts, or he or she trusts. And you say yes, then you're like connected strongly to the person who gives you an energy. And at the same, and other opinions, and the one that Ra mentioned, that you have to talk to different people to listen to your own voice and to understand. Yeah. So does it work really in your practice?
Yeah, or? It's we have to soundboard with trusted people to really be able to make a decision, because it took me a few weeks to make this decision with my business coaches. And it was funny because I thought the decision was done. I told them it didn't work. I hoped there was going to be another format for me, but apparently there wasn't. But then I thought, Stephanie, you really have to stop this. You're a mental projector. So I was soundboarding with another friend, but it just happened. It wasn't planned. I just told her what happened. She asked me, how are you? So I told her. And I came to the conclusion, wait a second, I'm a mental projector. Wait, I cannot be around people who will cost me energy rather than help me with energy. And now it's costing me energy. It's frustrating me every week because the coaching is every week. It's very intense also. So the other meal, it took me 2 hours to write because I didn't want to offend them. There's nothing wrong with them. It's not right for me. So, and this meal took me 10 minutes. I thought it was a really good meal. And yeah, I stopped the coaching. And and they understood, and we're still really cool. Of course, it's not good for anyone, but mental projectors really have to be so careful who they let in their lives, who they're around, because we are so influenced by their energy. We have nothing to hold on to but our mind, and our mind is not for us. We have no definition below the throat. So yeah, it took a while, but I made the right decision, because now I'm not stressed every week. Like, what are they going to say this time that I don't think is right for me?
Yeah.
So
soundboarding works, and preferably with multiple people when it's an important decision. And this was an important decision because I paid a lot of money for this. Yeah.
Okay. Nice, thank you. Because like I feel almost like you now, just because with age and with all the things that happened in my life and with family and so on. So like I do not have that much energy I had in the beginning of my life, and I really have to be. There is no choice left. I have to be careful with the energy. But when I think about mental projectors, it's like walking on the glass or whatever, walking on the eggshells almost, just like that.
Yeah, it's like ever since I was young, I had to be so careful about where I would go, with who, because I don't have that much energy. And I was sick a lot when I was younger because I was just overdoing it. I had no idea. So it was so freeing to find out that I was a mental projector. Oh yeah, here you see me with my mom and me as a baby and my dad.
Amazing photos. Yeah, your mom is so beautiful.
Oh,
She's so happy. Yeah, with you. And your father, yeah. Nice.
Cute, right? Yeah. So yeah, and it was hard because I grew up in an old generator family. My parents are both 1-3 generators. My mom emotional, my dad sacral, and I have a brother and a sister. I'm the oldest, and my sister is I should say a manifesting generator 2-4, and my brother is a 6 sacral generator. My sister emotional manifesting generator. So
you said your parents were 1-3s?
Yeah, 1-3s. Oh, okay.
They're very. I love the fact that they were very resilient. But yeah, you also have the trial and error aspect, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying about your survival, just because like I live in a projector family. I couldn't even imagine. So I know about my childhood experience. Yeah, that was tough because my family with all these energies, even though my mother is a projector, it is like really difficult. So you were always kind of overwhelmed, with energies.
Always, and they didn't understand why I would think in a different way. And when I would say, for example, I think this is like this, they were like, no, it's not like that. So it took me a long time to really trust myself because they were always saying, no, it's not like that. But I would clearly feel it in a different way, in a more subtle way also. So I would always check with friends when I was a teenager. Don't you think it's like this? What do you think? I feel it's like, I was very, very insecure as a girl because, I literally, also in my body, I had nothing to hold on to. And I was expected to behave like a generator. And I wasn't. I was, for example, I really need my sleep. But my parents thought I always had to wake up early, even when I would go out. And that's the absolute wrong thing. We need a lot of sleep as projectors, right? So, it was it was hard. I was a little rebel. I mean, my parents were pretty strict and I had to break all the boundaries, like that I wanted to go out later and stuff like that. So I always felt it was a bit unfair that I was the one that had to fight for everything. And my brother and sister were like, oh, I can go out until 2 p.m. a.m. Sorry, a.m. And I had to fight for that. So it was challenging, but I made it.
I found that I've met a couple of mental projectors, and there's one both of them are older ladies, or I've met a few. So, but some I've been like astounded at the energy that they've actually had more than me. Because I feel the same way as Tatiana. Like I just burnt out. Once you get older, I think it really gets to you. And I was always astounded at the amount of energy that they had. But there was the one that's 70 is a 4-6, and you can tell that she's definitely has a lot of health problems because of that. Yeah. But it's just so conditioned in people, I think, to just go, go, go. And also about the energy, about listening, because we listen so attentively. Yeah. And so I have had experiences with people who I can't listen to anymore because they're in a mind loop and I can't get them out of the mind loop. Wow. And it affects you, right? It affects you. Everything that you take in affects you. And so I've had to release relationships and therapy as well. Like if I go into a therapist, they don't see me and then they start telling me things about myself and I'm like, no, that's not true.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and do you guys then have that when you're, for example, you're at a birthday party? I don't really go to birthday parties anymore because of this. There's so many energies. I take everything in and now I can distance myself from that. Like, is that me or is that what I'm feeling from the other person? But I would take all those energies. I would come home and I would have to recover for 1 or 2 days and really feel like what is going on in my body. But then to find out later that it wasn't me. It was all those energies.
Yeah, of course. So I can see it in my mental projector child, but even the other projector who is also. So I have, because sometimes after birthday parties, and it is popular here in Germany to leave your kids overnight, so Übernachtungen, and most likely she would come totally kaputt. Yeah, so let's put it in German. Yeah, she would come for one day in bed after a cheerful evening and day with her friends, and she would stay in bed. So only one or two friends after visiting which she feels okay. And she herself, so Mama, now I notice that it is better to visit this friend and birthday parties, maybe the earlier I leave the better. Yeah, just because otherwise she would be exhausted.
Yeah. And I don't know if you have this picture, but I sent a picture with me at my birthday party with I think 10 kids. Yeah.
Yeah, so childhood
I
photo.
don't know how old I was. Maybe 10. I'm not sure how old I was. Maybe older. I don't know, or younger. But guess what happened at that birthday party? It was really fun. But what happened was I fainted.
Okay, so meltdown, yeah, almost.
It was overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were like, "What's with her? Like, is she wanting attention?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
No, it was overwhelming. But now they know, and they know now. They're not here anymore. They passed away. But now I'm highly sensitive. And it all makes sense. They said they would have made other choices, like put me in a school where there was more freedom, for example. That it would have been better for me. But yeah.
At that time, this information was not available simply.
Available. Yeah. So I really felt misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I didn't even know what was going on with me. So how can they have known also, right?
Sorry.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's.
Here they are.
So
yeah. My mom and me, we love to go to New York. This is in I don't know, how do you call that there? The shopping center, downtown. I don't know. Mm-hmm. The picture on the right. And yeah, my parents at the hay. My mother was already sick. She had breast cancer, so she was wearing that headscarf. Mm-hmm. And my dad, this was the last thing we did together. He had a tumor, a brain tumor, which was really growing fast. So he only had 6.5 weeks to live. But he really wanted, I can't get emotional now, but he wanted to make a last boat trip from actually the NDSM wharf, that from our picture, to Central Station, because he loved it. And we did that. And it was even hard to take him there because he was not in his right mind anymore. But I guided him, and he couldn't even really, he couldn't really walk well anymore and stuff like that. Just because of his brain, right? Physically it was okay, but his brain made it harder. So it was fun.
But one can see that he's still he has some joy in his eyes. He's happy that he's making this trip.
Absolutely, yeah. We had fun. Even though he wasn't in his right mind, he loved it. So. Yeah, that's their.
How did they get sick around the same time? Like, how did?
Yeah, it was insane. My parents lived in the south of Holland, and I live in Amsterdam, which is more to the north or west. Mm-hmm. And my mother never liked it down south, and I totally understood because people are just not as open and direct. And finally, she got my father to move closer to me in a really nice town. And they were only living there for 1 or 2 months, and my mother felt something in her breast, but she didn't want to go to the doctor because she was like, oh my God, now I finally live where I want to live. I'm making friends. Everybody's friendly here. And she went to the doctor, and it turned out to be breast cancer. And 6 months later, my dad went to the doctor, and at the same day, we were going to hear if the breast cancer was, how do you call that? When you can get it too, as when your daughters, I don't know how to call that in English. So we would get the results if it would be. Do you understand? If it would.
What? Can you repeat that?
Like, okay, so my mom had breast cancer, and it could be genetic or not.
Okay, so you.
Oh yeah, that day.
Genetic test, yeah.
We would get the results. So my mom called me, and she was crying. I was like, oh my God, is it genetic? She's like, no, Stephanie, can you please come? Dad has a brain tumor. Mm-hmm. He was just really going for a checkup. They think he has a brain tumor. So
Yeah.
And I went to the hospital with him, and they were looking at options, and they were honest, like there are no other options. He might live 3 or 6 months, but it turned out to be 6.5 weeks. It was crazy. And my mom was sick with breast cancer. She had to have her breasts removed, and she couldn't take care of my dad anymore. Can you believe it? So my dad had to go into, that everything happened at the same time, and I was the one living closest to them. So the care was really, of course, my brother and sister also did their part, but for me, it was the closest and easiest to help them. But it was crazy. So my dad died first, and my mom died a year later because the treatment for her didn't work. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot to suffer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you always think it's not going to happen to me. Like my parents are going to live long, like all the other people in my family.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's.
Do they know that was it environmental? Like for them, did you talk about, or did you have that thought that this is strange that they both have this at the same time? That's what it would immediately come to my mind.
Well, it was COVID time, and my dad was vaccinated. My mom was too weak to be vaccinated, and she was just scared, like, I'm too weak for that. I don't know. My dad, in the end, I mean, he really wanted to get vaccinated for my mom to protect her. But I was already telling him, I was like, I don't think it's going to help. But he wanted it. So, I made an appointment for him because, he was like, you have to. He's very strict, like, do it. But he never thought it would have impacted it. But on his deathbed, he said, Stephanie, can you please let the institutions know about this brain tumor, because it was so fast. So then he wanted me to let it. I mean, there was they wanted people in Holland to come forward who thought maybe it could. So I did that for him. I wrote to institutions just to let them know, because they were asking for it. So you never know if it influenced. That's I mean, it was a crazy time also, because I mean, only one person could be in the hospital with my mother, for example, after her surgery. It was also, and it made me very angry. Everything.
So it was a very, very tough period in your life. So you needed a few months to get back on track, I suppose, after such an event, such events. Yeah.
And that was during your Uranus opposition time. Yeah.
So I'm so glad that they moved closer, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to help them so much. I also have 2 bunnies, so it's not like I can just go and live there, or it would have been more complicated. So I was happy that it was only like 25-minute drive, and that I was just there for them. And but after, it was, of course, it was hard, but it's also like, okay, so now it's my time, and now I really have to, go on and continue to build this human design personal branding business. And that's what I've been really focusing on ever since.
Okay, so that's changed. So that was a huge change of direction. Like you saw your road and you started to move.
Yeah, because honestly, when they were sick, I did have some clients, but it wasn't the time to really build. It wasn't.
Of course. You didn't have any energy. Your energy was involved in some other processes.
Exactly.
Taking care about you.
Well, you remember we looked at your cycles, and so there were 4-6 Saturn return and your Uranus opposition were the 4-6 profiles, which often can be about health. And then also the cross of the Sphinx, which those 2 points in time really changed your direction and led you into a new direction. So it's very fascinating, all of those themes that play out in our cycles.
And you say the 4-6 also means with health, my own health?
Well,
yeah, so it could be, yeah.
4-6 profiles often, from what I've read and from what I've experienced, have health issues that culminate to powerful changes in their life.
Wow.
That's just something that I read in passing. I'm just a self-studier. I don't know, Tatiana. Can you?
So I had a teacher, so Tatiana, my teacher in human design, with whom I certified. She is for 6, and she was mentioned in this. She's already off her roof, and second Saturn return, and she told like it is better to be prepared because for 6 most likely would, when changes are coming, it would come from also influence your body and your health. So it is important for all 6 profiles, but for 6, for example, so that's a feature. It means, you're right, Susan. It happens.
I'll look at your astrology chart. It shows up there too. So
should we switch to astrology chart or later? What do you think, Susan?
No. I was just teasing that part.
Could you please tell us this wonderful picture with a horse? And this is a friend of yours. So could you please?
Okay. Yeah, on the left, that's me and a pony called Sandy. I love that pony. I don't know how old I was. I'm so bad at this, guys. How old was I? But yeah, I was
like 10, 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
You look so cute.
Thank you.
Of course.
I love animals. It's like my first love. Like, I love animals more than people in that sense. Because they're so cute and they're so innocent. And she was a very feisty pony actually, but she was very good to me. So it's the connection that you have. And on the right, her name is Tatiana as well. You pronounce it Tatiana. She's Brazilian, and I actually met her when I was studying in the US for half a year. She was also an exchange student, and we became friends. And I was 17 when I went to upstate New York and met her. And she could speak a word English in the beginning. That was so fun to really talk with hands, and but she speaks really good English now. But we became friends, and I went on holiday a few times there. She came here. But I also studied in São Paulo at the University of São Paulo for half a year for my college. She's a dear friend. I'm actually going to visit her in November this year, and I haven't for over 15 years. So, my second family. That's where I'm going.
So she was recognizing you even when your family was not ready for it yet.
Yeah, because she's a splenic projector. I mean, I know that now, right? But let me tell you, because I hate I don't like to when I sleep, I would prefer to sleep alone, which it makes total sense, knowing my design, and for everyone, but especially as a projector, right? So, but I would when I lived there, we would have to stay in a room, and there was like this much space apart from our beds, but I was okay. Probably because she was a projector, not a generator, with all that energy that you get conditioned by. So it was an interesting experience. We were really good together in that sense.
So and you keep contact all your life. That's the way I love you. I love it. Because I also have two friends from school times, and it's so nice to talk to the person who's like knows you for 30 years or something like that.
She always said, "I'm easygoing. You're so complex." I get that now,
That's nice. Nice. Let's see what comes next in our wonderful presentation. Sorry. Let's see. Finally, it is time to announce, as we said before, you're like 5-1. So you have the same profile, so 3-5-1s now, 3-5-1-1s projectors together to discuss important topics of life, days, that's everything, and everything in between.
That's me.
Do you recognize yourself?
Oh yeah.
43, 23, is here with all your opinions and brilliant ideas and talent of doing things the new way.
I really recognize it. So when I first learned about it, it was like, oh, now I get it. This is me, and the Genius to Freak channel. Like a lot of times, sometimes I just know, but it's usually not when it comes to important decisions, but for the other people or about some stuff in the world, I just know. And it's it's my channel. It's normal that I just know.
Or maybe it's your Pluto on 57. Yeah, so you feel yourself, so you feel how intuitive you are.
Yeah, exactly. Also, that feels it definitely.
Just because you hear that voice that says like, stop this coaching, for example, it's draining you, yeah? That's maybe, let's put it like this. This is your intuition talking to you. That's nice. I'm always jealous when I hear it, because like for me it takes so much time to understand what I actually want, what I actually need, and is it truly helpful for me or not? Same. Do you feel the same, Suzanne?
Yeah, I mean, it's we both have Pisces moons, so we definitely feel the environment around us, and you have a similar moon signature, because your moon is right next to your Neptune, and it's on the cusp of your 7th house. That's astrology, but it's the picking up of the environment and the people around you. And I see that you have the 6447, so that's an abstract channel. So it's like you get these downloads, but they're not logical. Like we have the logical channel, but they're not logical always. So it's like you have this knowing, but you really don't know where it's coming from. That's what I would imagine that's.
Yeah. I always want to make sense of it, and especially the past, which when you look at my chart, it's what it goes. It's like I want to make sense of everything, and it can take some time. It can be challenging, but you get great insights as well.
Yeah. Yeah, your cross of dedication, the heresy is, I am not satisfied with the explanation. We must implement the explanation. So it's not even just like logically understanding it, but actually putting it out there to experiment with, to make sure that it's correct. So there's like a process for you, it seems like.
But do you experience your cross? So do you feel like your costume sits and you implement it in your life?
Yeah, definitely. Also really like making things simple. Like, for example, I remember one client, you remember specific details that happened through your life, right? I remember there was a client and they had a very difficult system, a health system that they invented. And they hired a journalist to make it logical. And she wrote 6 pages and they weren't content with it. I sat with them for 1 hour and I wrote 1 page. And they were like blown away, like, whoa. But that's the gift of my time. Now it makes sense. So I love thinking back of circumstances like, or situations. Now I get it, So we're good as projectors with systems and really seeing through people, understanding it.
Do you think that comes, the practicality of that, it comes from the 5 line of being able to be very direct and to the point and get at the heart of the matter? Do you think that comes from the 5-1 or a projector or a mix?
I think a mix, because, as a mental projectors, we simplify, we structure, we organize. So I think it comes together brilliantly in that sense.
Yeah. So I also noticed my daughter has also 4323 and 1156, and actually she's the smallest in the family, but when she organizes something, it is the most energy effective solution one can imagine, because she has no energy. I have 2 motors. Her brother has a motor at least. Okay, father is motorless, but she has no energy to waste.
No, so we have to do it like that. And I mean, Ra called us mental projectors the leaders of the pack. And it's probably because we have no motors, we have to do with whatever we got and the most effective way. Yeah. So what a beautiful example.
So and when she plans and organizes something, it is most likely it would be joyful for us all. It's somehow it happens wonderfully. Not when I initiate something, it could be not that wonderful for all the family. Sorry, Susan, you wanted to add something?
I was like, oh yeah, duh. The 2343 is about the ordering. And my husband actually has that channel, but he also has the 214, and it shows up for him in the most efficient route. He's very obsessed with the most efficient way to get somewhere, and it drives me nuts because I'm like, let's just go. We'll figure it out. Whatever. I'm not so concerned about this. I want to enjoy the environment. I want to enjoy the nature. And he's like, it's very innate in him. He has got to go the most efficient way.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. For me too, if it's not practical, if it's not efficient, like my brother sometimes has a proposal and I'm like, but I mean, then I have to go all the way there, but isn't it better to meet each other there? And then we, it always has to be practical. Otherwise I'm like, why am I doing this? It costs extra energy. I don't have that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can be stubborn in that sense.
Yeah, stubborn. Definitely.
Yeah. So, Suzanne, you had a question about the hot thirst and hope motivation, yeah?
Yeah, I wanted to explore this with you. So, from a spirituality perspective, let's go to the because your trajectory on hope motivation is theist. Mine's anti-theist, and I grew up in a very religious family. So, I was wondering, I wanted to explore with you, like, what does that look like? The spirituality. How did you get? Like, was it in your family? Was it something that you just have always felt in your life? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was brought up Catholic originally, but my parents weren't really practicing. We were only going to church when it was Christmas. So I thought that was like, I never understood those traditions. I was like, then why are we doing it? And honestly, when I was in the US, I was in a really religious family. And what I saw there was that the husband was like the most wonderful man in church, and at home he wasn't. I always I rebelled against everything. Like I didn't understand. I mean, that feels like the other way around. For me, it should be the other way. For and you look, family is always the most important thing, I think. So I never liked anything that was telling you to do it like a certain way. So authority also, some things I just don't understand. Like our punishments here in the Netherlands are so low compared to the US. So in that sense, I really appreciate what the US is doing. If you rape somebody, how can you get off 2 years later or 1 year later here in Holland? I don't understand that.
Yes.
But I got into spirituality because I never, in my youth, I never really felt seen. And it wasn't until I was about, I think, 23 when I got a job, and there was a coworker. She turned out to be Mental Projector as well. And she was, for me, the first adult who really saw me and who could really guide me, because I was having a lot of pain. And she was really helping me through that, for example, and really, helped me with my direction. And it was wonderful. But yeah, so I was forced because I wanted to trust myself. Because in my youth, I had to conform, and I never wanted to conform. So I had a lot of coaching, and I went to the circle of people who were talking about, I don't know, spiritual things, getting downloads and stuff like that. I was the youngest, but I could understand, I could follow it, which was pretty, the people there were like, oh, this is pretty unusual that you can at that age. But yeah, that's more how I got started into that. And yeah, that's how I already deconditioned a lot before I found human design. Fortunately, because my life was hard. You cannot be a generator, especially when you're a mental projector. You can't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess some people wouldn't even consider human design spiritual. So what kinds of spirituality, other types of spirituality do you practice to find that connection?
What is in your toolbox?
Yeah. That's like, because I noticed that in the US, a lot of people are religious, and here in Holland, not a lot of people are. So I call human design spiritual because it's based on your birth data, so you really have to believe in it. But there are two different kinds of spirituality, because I've also noticed that a lot of people who are very religious, they don't want anything to do with human design. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah, because there's a history there, and so it used to be that it was all kind of combined, but then there was a specific if you actually study the origins of Christianity, there's a point when people were going to astrology and things like human design to do predictions and fortune telling, and that went against the church. And so there was a concerted effort to oust that from religion. But if you actually read like the Bible and stuff, there's a lot of indications, and there are of history there. So, and then there's all this history, like from the science, the glorification of science, the separation of, because science used to be also spiritual. Astronomy and astrology was much more geared toward this exploration of the cosmos, and that's astronomy. But then it became like superstitious, and so there's been a concerted separation, and that's why a lot of us have problems, because it's like spirit and matter. You need to have some kind of, well, a lot of people need to have some spirituality. You can see that people are getting addicted to drugs because that's the way that they express their spirit. And if you don't have like other ways to connect to your spirit, you go to those psychedelic experiences because it mimics something that we all crave. So I see a lot of sickness in the ways that society has been set up to separate spirit from matter. That's a tangent. But yeah, I would love to go into just one more second on that, the hot thirst. So do you recognizing that in you, and how does that play out? Or do you know much about hot thirst at all? Or
because like the hot, I immediately got it, because like every time I eat bread, I put it in a toaster.
And you drink a hot drink. You drink a lot of hot drinks, yeah?
Yeah, I love tea. Of course, when it's warm and I'm in perimenopause, sometimes I'm just too hot and I need to drink something cold. But I know it's the best for my body. It's just, I think it's challenging sometimes, because food gets cold very fast. And it has to always be, it takes cooking time. That's terrible. I love cooking, but I often don't have time for it, or don't have the energy for it.
Yeah.
So it can be challenging, because then I just want to eat a cracker, or I shouldn't, but
so I noticed, experiment with it still.
Yeah, experiment, exactly.
Yeah, I noticed for me it was a thirst. I knew the thirst part I really recognized, because I've always drank a lot of liquids. And fast. The hot part, food, I was definitely, it's temperature. So if it's supposed to be hot, I want it to be hot. Like lasagna or something. Like, I don't want it to be lukewarm.
Absolutely. Me too. Yeah.
And then the consummation of stuff, like information. It gotta be hot for it, or it's like lukewarm. If I'm lukewarm interested, like marketing, I stopped being so consumed with the ways that marketing was done. And I just didn't have the energy. Like, I didn't want to be upset. At some point I was obsessed, and I wanted to listen to everything and consume it. And that's kind of how I am with astrology and human design. But once I get over it, it's like done.
Not hot anymore.
So that's how it plays out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can I ask about the mountains? So so just to, I'm not sure about the birth time of my mother, but at the end of her life now, she lives on a 20th floor. And I was so shocked when she said, I'm buying a flat there on a floor number 20. Mama, are you crazy? Like, you're 70, blah, blah, blah. She was fighting us all, me and sister. But she lives happily there now. She's mountains, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I am active mountains.
Yeah.
I really want to experiment with that more. It's actually funny. I had a reading with a Dutch reflector in Brazil online, and he was like, "You as a mountains person, you have to really live higher. You can't live in Holland because if you really want to be successful, then you have to, live higher up."
Mhm.
But yeah, Holland is, especially where I live, it's below sea level.
Yeah, of course. Nederland, yeah.
Well, yeah. So, and I only live on in the US it's the second floor, but for Europe it's the first floor. It's really funny how we differentiate in that. But I do, yeah. Now it's probably third. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't live really high, so I can't really say. I did go to a rooftop last week, and I was like, "How does this feel?" I have to experiment with it more, but. Like, for example, where I really, really felt at home was in São Paulo, Brazil. So I'm really curious. I mean, at least it's higher than Holland. It's higher situated. I really, and they live in the penthouse,
Mm.
the 13th floor.
Yeah.
I'm really curious how that feels. And actually, when I lived there, gosh, I'm thinking about it now. It felt like home.
Yeah, that's.
And I want to find out what her mother is, but she's a projector, my friend, right? So what is her mother? Her father passed away, unfortunately. But I want to know because I did feel different when I lived there.
Of course.
So yeah, it could be, it could have been an influence as well that we were living so high up.
Yeah,
I also heard that it's like it's needing to be above looking down, so it's more about the mental, like being able to be at a distance from people, and looking at them from an elevated place. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Like, having to be recognized, but separate.
Yeah, but that's what we do as projectors. And I don't. I have some pentagates, but I don't have a penta channel for groups. So I'm definitely on the outside always, and I do like to speak. I can be the, how do you call it? I can be the artist, but I can also be the one backstage. For me, it's either way. It doesn't really matter. So that's why I love helping others get up there. I don't have to necessarily be on the stage, but I can be. I'm comfortable. So maybe I don't know.
That's nice.
Cool.
Yeah, but let's see. I still remember this wonderful valley in Montenegro, and I was so impressed by it. It stayed for years in my memory, even before human design.
Yeah.
And now in human design, valley is white. Now I know why. I remember quite well. This is between Tivat and Kotor, also two cities in Montenegro. So because I felt immediately, I was passing it always in the car. But when I was driving through this valley, it was like, this is the best place in the world for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to have that experience too.
Yeah, so let's see how it unfolds in our lives. Yeah, let's move. Oh, white judgments. We have this one here. And
yeah.
Do you have something?
So I was just listening to you as we were going, and taking some, I wrote some notes, but I was in my mind, I was like, oh, that's how that shows up. Oh, that's how that shows up. Because, astrology and human design describes the themes, but then, as the story kind of unfolds from the client, then you're like, oh, this is how this plays out specifically for that client. And I already told you that the the moon and Neptune, right? It's so in astrology, what your descendant is, where I don't know if you can see my mouse. I think I have to go to the presentation to show it, but you see where your moon and your Neptune are on the cusp of the 7th house. You see the 7 in the chart. It's on the cusp of the 7th house.
Yeah.
And so when you have that signature, that means that you can be very sensitive to your environment and the people around you. And also you have your south node in Pisces, and it's up at the top of your chart. So it squares the moon and Neptune. And I don't have it in this chart, actually. I wish I would have put it in, but Hygeia is health related. And when it's on your south node, that means that you experience health issues in your early childhood, or, from your past. And sometimes they call that the past lives. So you had some issues, like you just confirmed, growing up in an environment that was too stimulated and it sounds like very regimented. Your parents were very regimented with you. Was your mom, because sometimes it can relate to when you have a square to the moon. Tatiana and I both have squares to our moon in our chart. And we had troubling relationships with our mother, because the moon can be your mother. So I was wondering, did you guys have, other than what you kind of explained, did you have a hard relationship with your mother? Was your mom very overbearing, or was she absent in some way?
Very overbearing. Yeah.
Okay.
Like very, I just had to be this way, and she was always, like in your business. That's what overbearing means, right? A little bit
in
like
your business. So it can either be that they're absent and they're not, like, so it's a theme with your mother and your, and the feelings of security that you have. So it could be overbearing, always in your business, or with the Neptune, sometimes that I was wondering about your spirituality, because I was like, oh, well, was her mother religious, or did her sometimes that could be drinking or things like that. But it can also be just really in your business all the time.
Yeah, definitely. She wanted me to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of pressure. And I was just different. My brother and my sister were more normal in that sense to them than I was. I was always, they thought I didn't really appreciate them. I did, but I just wasn't able to fully express myself. And when I did, they didn't understand me.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. And then you've got Chiron on your Mercury, which is the ruler of your North Node. And Chiron, it's our wound. And so I think I mentioned this to you previously, but there's a wound to your expression. And you mentioned school. And it's also a wound to how you process information, and early education can be an issue. So tell me a little bit more about your school.
So I never had any problems in school, but when I went to high school in Holland, I was bullied a lot because I was different. Yeah. So I had a really, really hard time, and that was difficult. The funny part about me was that, yes, I was different and I got bullied, but I never tried to fit in. So for example, my how do you call that, the calendar that you bring to school, it was full of pictures of Black artists, because I really love R&B and hip hop. And nobody really even knew that music at the time where I was from. Everybody listened to rock, but I really loved R&B and hip hop. So even though I was being bullied, and I was very sensitive, and it's really hard being bullied, I still wanted to be me. So I really feel I was always fighting to just be me.
Yeah.
And I did have friends, I did have friends, some really good ones, but like I was still teased and bullied a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was weird. People horrible, honestly. People can be horrible. And at that time I also was like, I'm not going to have children. I don't want my children to have to go through this. I never liked the way that those children would behave, like how I could, because I'm so sensitive and it's not in me to be like that, to be bullying someone or to be jealous. It's just not in me. So I was like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah. You have a very interesting chart, because there's, on one hand, you are very assertive in who you are. And you, like you said, you will not change but you're very sensitive at the same time. And people, so you have outer planets all in retrograde. And so your Pluto is in retrograde, your Uranus is in retrograde, your Neptune is in retrograde. So oftentimes that means that you're against the status quo. You've got Uranus opposite your sun. You're different. Sometimes that means your dad is also very different in how he shows up. And your mom and dad didn't quite see each other. I'm not sure. I could unpack that a little bit, but there's a lot of like assertive energy and really powerful manifestation energy, but having to be, because you're so sensitive, your south node is in Pisces. And so it's like, you were confused about how to be in the world and very lost. And then it's like your north node and Saturn in your 4th house is really being able to take charge of your emotional, the ways that you take in information from others in your environment, so that you can take care of your health and be more to be more aware and concerted about the environment that you're in, so that you can live a healthy life, and so that people that you are surrounding yourself with, even in relationships, because you have relationship themes, that they are people that appreciate you for the uniqueness that you bring to the table. That's your whole business, right? Because it really does affect your health. And so making more proactive decisions about your environment is very important for you.
And that's what you do, for example, this example with coaching, even so.
Even though it costs me money, and I realized that. And I mean, it's been a few years that I really said goodbye to a lot of people because it wasn't serving me. But I still have to be very careful who I let in my life, because it has so much to do with my health. And this is exact.
And your south node is ruled by Jupiter. You see that Jupiter it's on the cusp of your 3rd house. It's really in your 2nd, but it's on the cusp. So some people say that's in your 3rd house, which is also communication themed. And this square, and I didn't put Juno in here. Juno is partnerships. Juno actually sits, I think, between let's see, I have it here, between Mercury and Mars. And so, it squares, Jupiter squares your partnerships areas. So it's again, your expression. You're going to have your Jupiter return in 2026. And also what shows up here is your relationships. And that's what you're talking about from a foreign, you might have relationships with a foreigner, people that are different. You're drawn to people that are different than you, right? Mm-hmm. International. Yeah. So you're going to have your Jupiter return, which is going to give you a much better understanding of what you're doing is you're having a theme about relationships. You're very assertive in your relationships and very much take charge person, and you need somebody who appreciates that, because you're ending a cycle of relationships. I don't know what your parents' relationship was like, but there's probably something there for you to explore about how they showed up in relationship to each other. But there's like this theme around ending a cycle of relationships. And you'll see this going to show up in your Jupiter return, and then your Chiron return is going to bring that home, where you make a concerted effort to show up differently and to embrace something different about who is in relationship to you, so that you can, so that you can be more comfortable in your expression, because you're different, and that's great. And you got to have people that surround you that are appreciating that difference. So that might be that you get involved with somebody from a foreign, country. Who knows what's going to happen when you go to Sao Paulo?
Yeah, who knows?
You may never come back. It's that kind of energy. You need to be in an environment, and Brazilians are much more expressive
I know.
and comfortable with expressing themselves.
They're so warm. I felt so at home there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, of course.
In Netherlands, I know they're a little tighter,
Definitely. Over there, it doesn't matter. It's about who you are. It's not about what you do, how much money you make. In Brazil, it's about who you are. So when you meet somebody, it's like, hey, yeah, do you want to get a drink? Do you also like, I don't know, singing or whatever it may be? It's not about what you achieved in life. It's just about who you are. And yeah, I mean,
what kind of nice things we can do together, we can experience together, yeah? How we can enjoy life together, yeah?
I love that. So yeah, I can't wait to go there. My gosh, I might never come back. Suzanne, I'm like,
so who knows?
I have no
Your
idea
business-
about that because I didn't look that deeply, but I do know that you have a theme about, embracing difference and partnering with people who are different than you, and making sure that you're partnering with the right people, and that they appreciate the assertiveness, but also you have that's a conflict in you, this assertiveness, go-getter type of person, but also getting overwhelmed. And I think that a lot of projectors experience that, where it's like they go through cycles of like too much intensity, and then they have to go and take time for themselves. And sometimes that means that you have to find that balance, the balance of that, because it can make you sick, especially if the people that are around you are not the right people.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, but let's hope.
Yeah, I totally recognize that.
Yeah. So I
and
have
your business, sorry, could be definitely done remotely. So why not?
Yeah. And that's why I also decided not to do it in Dutch, but in English. I'm a 5 after all, right? But yeah, I just always felt really drawn to work internationally. And I did have, when I only did the PR agency, I did have international clients, but I couldn't, because yeah, it's hard doing PR in another country because you don't speak the language, you don't know the media that well. And now with what I'm doing right now, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Well, you can manifest anything. Like you have a lot of manifestation power in your chart because you have a mixture of fire and earth. But sometimes, for you, it's about, like you said, soundboarding with a lot of people, making sure that you're surrounded with different opinions, because the lack of air, which is funny because you have an ascendant in Gemini, but you don't have a lot of air. And so what happens is that there's not a lot of circulation of new ideas sometimes with people with air, and you get stuck. And you're focused on your thing, and it can get you stuck, right? And then also you don't have a lot of water, although it's from your past. So, making sure that you're in touch with your emotions, because that can really affect you too, if you're not really in touch with how you're feeling, and picking up on that very much sensitive part of you, because you can go out and you can get it and you can make it happen, but sometimes you get really tunnel vision, like mental projector, tunnel vision, or you're not really in touch with how you're feeling about something. So that soundboarding is so important for you, from a variety of people listening and reflecting back to you, because you essentially know what's right for you, but you have to discover it, because you're not in touch with your emotions. And so that's why you're soundboarding or verbal and everything. But yeah, you've got a lot of actual group energy, because you've got a lot of 11th house themes, very creative, because you have Pluto in the 5th house. Your sun is kind of on the cusp of the 12th house. So that means you're behind the scenes a little bit, but you have a lot of powerful connections with people from the larger peer, and from online. You can create a lot of partnerships that way. Sorry, I've been talking too much, Tatiana. What you were going to say something.
So I just wanted to add the story of your childhood and how it all developed, and your feelings that you had during your childhood times. Once I read that it is extremely important for mental projectors to meet a projector in their life, the earlier the better, because only another projector can help them to unfold, to understand themselves. And now I definitely see what it is, what it was written about. Because like with my daughter, I'm always walking on the eggshells. I'm too much a projector, and I always have to be I had to be careful. Now she's pushing back. She has a 38 in her Pluto, and she can push me back. But before she started to do it, she's now 11.
Yeah.
I had to be really careful because she's so fragile and gentle, and even I'm as a projector can harm her. Yeah, that's just you read some words somewhere in human design communities or in the books. But then you see that's why you felt and recognized, and so it's not because your parents were extremely bad, or you were totally different, but it was simply it wasn't matching very well for you.
No, they were doing their best. They were doing what they thought was right, and I totally get it. You know, mental projectors, we're 1 or 2% of all people. I totally get it. And I'm so happy. Like, for example, my sister has 2 sons, and one of them is a projector. And now she knows this information. I see that she knows better how to deal with him. He's a teenager, right? But I'm so thankful for that. And even my neighbor was like, yeah, my projector daughter, I know now what she needs, and that I have to give her space, and that she needs more rest. And it makes me so happy that I was able to teach them a little bit about how we are all different. She's a manifesting generator. I mean, can you believe with a if you don't know, you think she should be as active as she is, the mother. But it doesn't.
The toxic shame, like, why are you late? So like she comes after school and she lays herself in a bed, and I say, okay, go away, disappear. But I could have said, like, how could you do it like that? Learn your homework, do something for your family. Like it was done in my childhood. You cannot lay down simply.
So this knowledge, I think, is everything, and that's why I want to, just share the knowledge with other business owners and leaders and experts, because it can really help us. And I love just working with other entrepreneurs because I'm one myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, also with neighbors and families, I love that I can share this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Are you studying BC? What is it?
BG5. Are you studying BG5? No.
No, I studied the business part with 64 keys.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. I'm not doing the path that everybody's walking.
Because you're different.
You know, and when
you go your way.
When I met Nicole, she's also 5'1", by the way, Nicole Ephart from 64 Keys, and also projector, emotional projector. So yeah, that was a great match immediately. I love it, working with,
So you recognized, you understood that this is the person you want to learn from.
Yes, and it was definitely the right decision. Yeah, it's great.
That's your intuition again.
Yeah. So that's funny, because that wasn't a hard decision. Some decisions are just harder, and then it takes me time, and it just takes time. But then eventually I speak my truth. And even then, when I speak my truth, it can take a little while to really share everything.
Yeah.
It has to move through my body to know, like, okay, this is the right decision, or I should really stop the coaching, because first I just said the format is not working. I didn't say I wanted to quit. When they couldn't change the format, I was like, I have to quit.
It's good. It's good that you're taking time, because probably when you were younger, you made more hasty decisions, and that got you in trouble. Yeah, because you've got a Jupiter Mercury square there, so that can get you in hot water because you're making impulsive decisions, even though you're considered, you're not emotional or whatever, but that, I think that soundboarding is important to really make sure that you're in touch with what is inside you. And
so you definitely see, Suzanne, very interesting prospects for Stephanie, in the coming future, in 2026 or even.
It's funny because, like, I get, I have to stop myself because I was like seeing all these themes, and then I'm like, oh, well, let me look into this. And it takes time, I'm very curious. I like to learn, and then I like to understand, and so I'm like, okay, keep me in, I'll tell you, Stephanie, keep in touch because I want to know how this unfolds for you.
Yeah.
Your Chiron return is a while from now, but I'm so interested in this process because I've just been through it. And that's when I got into human design, was during my Uranus opposition, when my life fell apart, literally. And now we are both in our Chiron return. And I have to say that even though I knew a lot about my Chiron intellectually, it's not till you get there that you really understand it.
Yeah.
It's a feeling inside your bones, yeah? What is this Chiron return?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, keep in touch. Tell me what happens. I want to know what happens in Sao Paulo. Yeah, I'm excited for you. I think it's going to be a great eye-opening trip. I haven't seen your transits or anything like that, but it makes me excited because I see your themes. And then also Jupiter does rule your 7th house. So even though it's the ruler of your South Node, it's very important in your chart about your relationship with others and what you're learning from others who are different than you, which is awesome because we all need to experience ourselves, like as projectors, through others, and we're transpersonal. So we have very definite paths with others. I do too. I have a theme of a Saturn theme of other people, because my Saturn is in the 9th house. So it's about people from far off lands and things like that. So it's a very important theme for you. I think you're going to learn a lot about yourself through these just different relationships. So I'm excited for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, guys, this has been wonderful. And actually, I think I'm going to start a podcast as well. And I would really love to invite you so I can interview you guys.
That would be amazing. We'd love it. Right,
that's a brilliant idea. Yeah. We are ready. Just
great.
Send us an invitation. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that was an invitation for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, of course. so thank you for sharing your time with and your ideas and your wonderful life with us. Now I think we're going to proceed to our judgments. If you want to stay, you can stay, but you're free to go. We have to take care about our mental projector. If she needs time for herself, then she's free to go.
No, yeah, whatever you like. Of course, I'm curious. Sorry, I'm a one-line, guys.
Yeah, stay. We just don't want to keep you.
No, you're not keeping me. I love it.
We are moving to our judgments. Ta-da! Here you are, Suzanne.
So the last couple of weeks have been interesting. I think I teased this in my last couple of shows. I had discovered a different way of lining up the hexagrams to the astrology, which brought me into going, oh, wait, I really want to learn how these different modalities hook in together. And this is a big project, and I don't have a lot of time. So I was like, I saw this book, and I really wanted to understand the chakras. Because I saw the hexagram, there was different ways to put the hexagrams to the astrology. And so then that led to, are the chakras, the way that he built it, is that different? And all of these things, I always learn kind of serendipitously. I'm led to things, and I'm trusting that a lot more. But it led me to this book, which actually didn't give me quite the information that I wanted. But what it did give me was this idea of awakening the chi energy and how to better connect with your life force. We're projectors, so we don't have consistent life force, but there's this idea, I think it's Qigong or whatever that this is kind of based on, is that we definitely have the ability to connect with our life force energy and to create a healthy way to move that energy through our body and to keep our body healthy. And so I haven't read all of this book, but there were some meditations that I was very keen to start doing, because it's about sending love to your inner your inner parts, like, your kidneys and your heart, your liver and things like that. And I, as a former drinker, I drank way too much. I'm very much more in line with being healthy and making sure that my organs are healthy and all of those things. And also, I just really want to make sure that I can better take care of my energy. And so it led me to this meditation, which is just amazing. I can't remember his name. Inner Smile meditation. He's a famous Qigong master, but there's a free meditation called Inner Smile meditation that he has on YouTube. So if you want to look it up, you'll probably see him. I wish I remembered his name. Maybe I'll put it below this description. But the meditation is so peaceful, and it really just starts with imagining a sunset. And I immediately just thought of that, and it just brought such a pleasant feeling to me. And so then it takes you into how to bring that into your body and how to send this very calming smile that comes up from that imagining the sunset into your, different areas of your body. You can imagine it from, doing it from your liver, your solar plexus, or whatever, however you want to do that. But you can bring that into just different parts of you and connect with your heart and connect with that feeling of just loving yourself. And I don't think we do that enough. I definitely don't do that enough. I've been going also to a new Buddhist or a Zen practice, refuge. It's called Refuge, and it's kind of like for people who are in recovery. And just they had this self-forgiveness meditation at the beginning of it. And, just forgiving yourself, even just connecting to the ways that we take in other people's opinions about us, even that, forgiving yourself for that, because we personalize so much of what's coming at us. And to be able to forgive myself for all of the things that I took in and believed about myself from other people, and then regurgitated that back out at the same time. Because when you take in all of this negativity and judgment about yourself, you also express that to other people, because that's how it works. And so it starts with yourself. Really having love and finding forgiveness for yourself really helps you express and find forgiveness for others. And so that's kind of been my work over the last few weeks. And it's just really helping me through some difficult times of our Chiron return.
Yeah, of course. Mental Chair is like really an interesting, he brought a very interesting approach, and it is important what he offered to us all. I remember even during our university times, there is a really good publishing house. It was already then it was in Kiev in Ukraine, and they were publishing all Castaneda books. First came to Russia, so 1992, 93, and so on. They published all the Castaneda, and then came Mental Chair. And we understood immediately. Yeah, like, okay, if Sophia publishes this, it should be something. Yeah, and it is something. The question is in practicing it regularly. But even today during my yoga lesson, I also thought about that I can love my body. And yes. I never learned it. It's okay. It was not in our culture, not in my family. It's quite normal in Russia. But one can love the body he has. And it was like, yeah, that's what I thought today during my yoga lessons.
So it makes such a difference to love yourself and your body and all, because we don't have no control. I mean, we could do things for health or for vanity, but we don't have any control of the body that we were born into. And to have such animosity or self-hatred for this body, which a lot of people do because of all of the negative advertising, especially as we grow older, okay? As women, we watch our face fall and things like that. And I see all these people wanting to fix it and to have surgery and all of that stuff. And whatever you do is fine. That's your, whatever makes you feel good. But for me, just to have that, to see myself, and to send love to those parts, actually, to me, makes such a huge difference in how I am showing up in the world, as this confident, energetic being, because you really definitely see people's inner spirit more than anything, and the right people are going to find beauty in you. And so it's just really connecting to that parts of ourselves, which I think just keeps you healthy a lot longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have it at the back of my mind, this kind of practices. I suppose that my time also would come with it. I'm really happy that I'm doing yoga again. I found a wonderful teacher, like in a local fitness club. I'm lucky as usual, but these Taoistic things, they work, and it helps to unload our head. Yeah. So I had positive experience when I was younger with these practices. Yeah. I'm happy for you. This is the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his name is Jeffrey Golden or Holden or something.
But anyway, he's one of the Mental Chia disciples, or pupils.
Yeah, I mean, you inner smile meditation, he pops up right away. And he's got such a great voice, because voice is very important to me. He's got such a great voice. So yeah, look it up.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Okay, now my turn. I would be talking about something totally different. That, like, luckily, I have not that much time now and watch not that much movies anymore. Not that many movies, but it's okay. That's how it should be. Like, more interesting things in my life. I have now, but I was impressed. It's the best of Giuseppe Tornatore and Jeffrey Rush. So it is 2013, somehow went unnoticed. So I wanted to find something about art world, about museums, and some kind of thieves, and so something like that, yeah. But it is much more than that. And Jeffrey Rush is an amazing, amazing actor, and how he plays, it's like. And I suppose also the director's work is very important here, and this Italian approach, and all the movies so amazingly decorated, and all this, and they also have Kiefer Sutherland in it, who is an amazing actor, of course, and he passed away recently. Donald Sutherland. Yeah. So they play such a wonderful duo, and just to spice it all a little bit, this is the worst case. This film shows the worst case scenario of 5-1 paranoia. Let's put it like this. I suppose you're gonna, you want to watch it. Yeah. So this is the worst case scenario pictured in a beautiful decorations. How the things could go wrong, and what we always expect, and how it turned out, and in his life. But Jeffrey Rush is amazing.
Great.
Yeah, he's great. So that's what I bring to the table tonight.
I wrote it down too.
I love your movie suggestions. So taking note, because I don't watch much TV, so I need referral for good things to watch, so I don't waste my time and my energy. So thank you, Tatiana.
Paranoia and beautiful decorations. Yeah, that's the way we like it. Yeah. So we thank you, everybody who survived till the end of this episode.
Tatiana always closes it with that. I'm like, they should be blessed at the end, because we had such a wonderful show, and I'm sure that they really enjoyed every minuscule part of this till the end.
Yeah, of course. Do you agree, Stephanie?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. No, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I really loved it.
Thank you, Stephanie. It was great.
Wonderful souls. Like, I felt comfortable. So yeah.
Good. It was great having you. Thanks for coming on, and keep us updated, okay?
Yeah, please keep us updated. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye guys. Bye.
Ciao, cacao.